All right. Well, we for the past few days have been in Normandy, and we're here with Andrew Biggio from the Rifle and 4 World War II veterans. And right now, as you can see, I'm at the Normandy Victory Museum. This is the first time I've ever been here. So we're going to dodge inside, and then later on there's an event where the people who visit here can meet the veterans and get things signed and stuff like that. So anyway, going to be a new experience. So we're going to dodge inside and see what we got. All right, we just got into the museum here, and holy smokes, there are a billion people here. So I'm going to film a few things. We may have to come back to this place at another time and give it a more thorough treatment. But we'll, pick out a few little odds and ends as the veterans are making their way through the museum. A lot of museums in the Normandy area focus on D-Day, which is all well and good. This museum kind of picks up at D-Day and then advances through like the hedgerow fighting. So here we see a scene depicting where June 6th has already come and gone, and the Americans have set up operations at one of these bunkers. And then as you kind of advance along through the museum, well, they have different scenes depicting soldiers getting together and showing, different American equipment and giving the visitors just a little bit of a glimpse of what a scene might have looked like during the Battle of Normandy. I have a particular soft spot in my heart for souvenir items and things that soldiers brought home from the war, especially signed flags. So here we have an artifact from this veteran right here of this Nazi party flag that was captured, and you can see where all of his friends signed it. And apparently they had an artist in the group who included this number on the flag. Yeah, that's one of the cooler signed flags that I've seen in a while. Here's a scene depicting Patton's rush on Brittany, so getting kind of deep into the Normandy campaign here. And in this diorama, we see this SS guy who is being taken prisoner. Looks like the soldier has his sold book there and is getting some information. And like I said, we've got some veterans with us today, and one of them has a pretty humorous story involving some prisoners that he captured at some point during his journey through Europe.
All right. We just got done with a campaign, and we're in the trucks. We're going to head for my rest period, and I had to go to the bathroom in number 2. So I jumped off the truck, and I left my gun and everything on the truck. So then the truck left me. So then when I got done, I looked up, and I seen hands go up in the air. I said, "What's going on here?" So here it was Germans. They were giving themselves up. I didn't even have a gun. So I says, "Come on." And they followed me. And then I was in front of them. And I said to myself, I must be crazy. in front of them. They could kill me. I didn't do nothing about it. I just walked. I walked with them, and we hit this town, and there was an MP there. And I says, "Here, take these guys." He says, "What am I going to do with them?" I says, "I don't care what you do with them. You can have them." So then I had to go looking for my outfit. And a newspaper guy come with a car. He was coming up and he stopped. Here he was a newspaper guy. And I says, he asked me, he says, "Where you going, soldier?" I says, "I'm trying to find my outfit." He says, "Come on." He says, "Come on with me. We'll go try to find them." And I says, "Okay." So I went with him. And so it took me 3 days to find my outfit, and I finally found them.
I really like how this museum is wrapping things up. So when the battle swept through France and swept through Normandy and the Allies moved on as the Germans were falling back, well, the detritus of war was left behind them. So here in this last exhibit, and like I said, I've not shown a fraction of what's in here, but they show all of the different artifacts that were recovered, things like canteens and helmets and pieces of ordnance and bayonets. Yeah, that's really cool. All right, so we've made our way back outside here. We've got our veterans here getting ready to sign different items like helmets and flags and things like that. We've got Andy over here getting ready to sign books. And holy smokes, there are a bunch of people here. All right, now I'm not the only one who was at the Normandy Victory Museum today. We also have Mr. Eric Dorr, who is with us.
Hello.
Thoughts on the museum?
Museum's pretty good. You know, I visited it years ago when it was still, I think, under construction, so I didn't get the full perspective of it. But now that they have all their artifacts in place, and it's pretty outstanding, really.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with it.
And again, I didn't even show a fraction of what was in there.
Recommend it for sure.
All right, we got a few other things out here we're going to take a look at, though. So here's something pretty cool. Here at the museum today, they have a display from a tank museum in Saumur, Musée de Blindés. My foreign pronunciations are awful. But yeah, they have some German armor in here that is pretty cool for people to come up and see. And these are in working condition. All right, now here at the museum today, they have a display of German tanks, and it's all fenced off. You can't get to the German tanks. But I happened to run into Major Chris.
Yeah.
And Major Chris
Hello.
has got us the hookup. So he watches the channel and gave us the invitation to come in and take a look at these tanks.
Yeah. Thanks.
No, I appreciate it.
What's the best?
Anyways, our Panzer IV. This is a working vehicle, still working with original parts. This is a work from the Tank Museum, from Saumur. We are based on the River Loire. And this vehicle was the workhorse of the German army. This vehicle was built at 8,000 exemplaries. Just few dozen still exist today, and just a few are still in working condition. This is one of them. If you may. As you can see, there is skirts. on the side of the vehicle. This is not against bazooka. This is just against something really, really problematic in the Eastern Front. It was anti-tank rifles. Soviets were a fan of anti-tank weapons like rifles. With this really thin armor, there is no way a bullet can be stopped entirely by this. But the bullet will no longer be really precise after getting through. The bullet lose its sharpness, lose its stability. And when the bullet was against the real armor of the vehicle, it no longer had the energy, the power to going through the main armor of the tank. That's why you have skirts on the side of the vehicle, of the hull, on the turret. The armor on the front was impervious to these bullets. So that's why you have no skirts on the front of the vehicle. For the armament, 75 millimeters, it can go through any kind of Allies tanks, T-34, Shermans or Cromwells, at about 1 kilometer. A Sherman with a short 75 millimeter have a hard time to go through the frontal armor of Panzer IV, but on the sides, even a Sherman with short 75 millimeter can go through past 1 kilometer away. So this vehicle had some problematic. On contrary, this one, this beast, was really a problem if you had just a Sherman. In one word, on the front of the Panzer IV, you have 80 millimeter of armor. This is only the lateral armor of a Panzer 6B Tiger II. On the front, maybe you can see here. You can see this is the lower part of the frontal armor. Just here, you have 15 centimeters of armor. 15 centimeters. Angled. Any weapons used by Allies on 1944 can't go through this armor. On the contrary, this gun was able to destroy any Allied tank up to 2 kilometers away. Tiger II was a big threat, but it was a big threat for himself. This vehicle just here, in front of you, broke down on 1944. This vehicle was too heavy, 70 tons. It was the heaviest tank in whole World War II. And we have a third vehicle here. This is the lightest of the three. This is the Panzer II Lux. This vehicle is nothing like the Panzer IV or the Tiger II, but it is a really important vehicle. This is a vehicle which was the eyes of the German army. This vehicle was sent forward to see where the enemies were. This vehicle, with all its crew, was just here to spot enemy vehicles, enemy movements, then inform the rest of the army of the movement of the enemy. That's why it's lightly armored, unlightly armed. This vehicle is a speedy one. This is its main power.
right. Well, we are wrapping things up here, getting ready to hop back on the bus and head back to where we are staying. Man, there were a lot of people here today, and a lot of people who watch the channel. So I don't know, it turns out there's a lot of people watching this thing, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, yeah, very, very cool museum here.